These things have great profit margins, and there's a couple ways to do this, but you're typically destroying perfectly good items to make this. I actually prefer raw materials and these repurposed cheap things from Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby. So we're just gonna kind of burn through this live, step by step. Let me know in the comments what you think as we get towards the end of this. But we're gonna start by cutting up some scrap wood and jumping into these fun little pieces of canvas board. We've got a diamond scraper, some leather, and some stencils. I'll make sure to jump in with the voiceover, give you guys the step-by-step instructions. Let's get at it. All right, so now I've cut down to the dimensions that I need to fit inside of these canvases here. Let's see here, I should have one that's a little longer than the others. It's fitting right inside there. Yep, there we go. We're gonna leave one side open on this. And now I'm gonna make a frame for the inside of this as well. So I'm gonna take this face piece here, and I'm gonna make the inside of this frame just a tiny bit shorter than this. Kind of thinking out loud here through our framework, but ultimately we want to clamshell these together. Now I'm going to open this up. I'm going to get some wood glue and tack these together really quick. You're going to wrap the back edge of it with this cool little decorative leather we've got here. Before we bring our pieces back here, I'm actually going to make some marks so that I have square lines to work off of.
About 1.5 inches of overhang, 1.5 inches reveal is what I'm looking for.
All right, that's lining up perfectly the way I want it to. Now, I need to do something on the sides here. I need to tuck these edges in. Okay, now for gluing this leather hide down to the canvas and the wood, It's actually going to be recommended to use something like E6000. You probably have it in your shop. If not, a lot of the hobby stores are going to have this stuff on site. I recommend you get the package that's resealable, and then it's got a couple extra tips that come with it. It's got this little cap right here. So we're going to go ahead and get some glue down on all of these surfaces here, and except for the middle, we're going to leave that part open. All right, let's get some weight on here and let it sit and go get some lunch. All right, nothing like leftover lasagna. What'd you have for lunch? Leave your comments down below. Let's move on to the next step here. We want to create a little bit of a roundness to the back side here, so I'm going to go ahead and just use this piece of cardboard roll from a paper towel roll here. And it doesn't take too much. Cut it out. Good thing is if we screw up, we've got plenty of extra material to work with here. Okay. If you can see it on that, I'm going to try and zoom in on that a little bit in the editing, but we're basically just about an eighth of an inch reveal here on each side from the frame to the. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to be all right. See, it takes us right to just about the edge there. So we're going to use the hot glue gun, and we're going to throw this guy right up to the edge of this white canvas here. So just a little mark. Just kind of know where we're going here with the glue gun. And that should take us all the way out to the edge as well. It's okay to go heavy on the glue where it's going to be hidden. No big deal. Right? We want to make sure this thing stays nice and stuck together. Line her up. Just give it a little hold. Should be all right to do that. Hot glue guns don't need a whole lot of time to hold together. They really get the job done, right? Okay. Now, got this little round back part here. I think I'm going to shave off a little bit of this. I want this to fit inside of this this channel right here. If you've made these before, you know there is a bunch of different ways that we can do this, right? It's just trial and error to see what we like the best way of doing it. But see, we get a little bit of a rounding to the back there. That's what we're looking to accomplish. So we're confident that we can maybe put a couple dabs of glue in there to hold that into place. All right, let's turn it around so you can see what I'm doing here, right? So I'm just bringing this other white edge of the canvas board, bringing that right up to the wood edge here. There you go. I want to get it over the wood so that that cardboard is stuck underneath there. That's what I'm looking to push in there a little bit. There we go. And now we can fold her down. All right, now we got our reveal all the way around. We like what we're at. Hold it in place. Give it a couple seconds to cure. You can see it looks like a book now, doesn't it? Look at that. I'm sure there's plenty of you that do more upholstery work than I do that are gonna have comments down below on how to handle the leather binding on this one a little bit better than the way I did it. But that's the way I did it because I'm a woodworker. I don't work with leather, but it's fun trying to. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of requests for really neat little projects like this. So something I thought would be kind of fun to finish off the edge here would just be get a little tiny piece of rope, nothing fancy, just to give it a little bit more of that authentic look of a book. Now before we glue that thread on the end here, we're going to use this diamond stitching chisel. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. Now I figured I could use a paintbrush cleaning comb, but I figured this chisel's got a little bit more sharpness to it. And so what we're going to do is we want to start just kind of going down the edge of here and see if I can't maybe prop this up for a second here. So you got the end to work off of here. I want to go down the end like this, all the way through it multiple times. What am I doing here? And you're going to see in a second. Let's get it in both directions. I'm just trying to score the wood and give it a whole bunch of lines, like a bunch. So let's go through this really quick. All right, it almost even looks like kind of frayed edges of paper, and that's exactly what we're going for here. So we're going to break out a stain pen and kind of hit that with a little bit of light stain. We want to keep the blondness look to the pine board here, just to kind of emulate pages of a book. But I thought if we took a really light blonde stain, might be able to kind of glaze those grooves just a little bit and accent them a little bit more. So. Like that a little bit lighter. Yeah, be careful not to get too much of the stain on your actual canvas there, because it is canvas. It's meant to take paint. So let's get a little bit on there, and then let's go with a quick rub off with a cloth. Okay, so that's on one side, and then something else I wanted to show you on another side that I think is actually kind of cool too. We're going to see how well this works. It's just actually using a gold leafing pen. Okay, this will be kind of neat, huh? I think this is our winner right here. I think the same thing. I think we'll just give it a quick rub. All right. I don't know how well you can see that now in the light, but man, check that out. It's just like the gold edge of a book. I wonder if we can just go over this stain too. Let's go over this stain with the same stuff. Very cool. Look at that. Really cool finish. Let's get this string glued into the edge of here. Just want to get a little bead of glue right in there. Just kind of tuck that guy right on there. I'm going to come back and cover the outside of this with a little bit longer piece of leather, just to kind of take it all the way to the edge and finish it off a little bit. See what we do if we add a little bit of stain to that. Might work out all right. A little bit of stain to that thread. Now let's do the same thing to the other side here.
All right, that's in there.
Finish it off with a little bit of stain again. I'm going to go ahead and finish this whole edge here with some glue and another strip of leather, just to kind of clean the whole thing up a little bit. All right, looks like it's working itself out pretty nicely there, right up to the edge. We'll go ahead and trim that off a little bit, get that glue a second, and while we do that, while I give that glue a second, man, check that out. I love that. I think that's just so cool looking. Just looks so cool. I have a little glue to clean up. I do a lot more woodworking, as you guys know, on this channel here, and not as much of the craft DIY stuff, but for all you, you know, Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree crafters, like, you guys will probably do a lot better job with the hot glue gun than I will, but I just love that. I think that's looking great. They got the, you know, the scraping on the side of there to emulate the pages of a book, and then throw that gold leaf on there, and it looks really cool. Got a little bit of fabric on there, and it's all gluing down really well. So while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and move on to the inside frame. So I'm going to let this set aside and cure for a few minutes here. We're going to move on to this inside frame piece here. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get this clamped up, and I'm going to shoot some screws through here and make sure that I got everything as square and as tight as I'd like it to be. Inside frame, so we don't need to worry about those little stain samples that we just did there. But yeah, let's get this guy clamped up and make sure everything's perfect, 90 degrees and pretty for us. Use a countersink drill bit. I want to get 2 in here. Countersink drill bit, and then I'm using a 2-inch construction screw. Nice and sturdy. And then we've got a cross piece that will go across here to add a little extra structural integrity to it. Pre-drill it, and then we'll attach that later on when we mount this thing. And when you see how this is installed, you may have a different method that you prefer to use, but this is what I'm going to go with just because I want things to be a little bit more concealed. Let me know in the comments what you think after you see it. See how our book is doing? Things are looking good. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and start getting some letters on the side of here and make this thing look a little bit prettier, and then I will show you guys how we're going to install it in just a second. Not too bad. All right, really simple installation. We're just going to grab a level, kind of figure out the height that we want to put this guy at. This is our installation bracket. Now again, you may have a different method that you want to use for this, but this is the method I'm using. Again, I want everything kind of concealed. sure that we're level how we like to be, right like that. Now remember, I have a cross piece that I was intending on putting in here that's just for a little bit of extra stability. It doesn't feel like it needs it, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it off for now and just kind of dry fit this guy on here. But this is essentially what we've got now. We have got a floating bookshelf that's actually made out of a book. Check it out. So we can put all of our favorite shop books right here, perfectly concealed by a book hanging on a wall. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any suggestions on how you would do this different, I'd love to hear your comments down below. Give me a like. If you feel like you've gained some value from this, please give us a subscribe. But there you have it, floating bookshelf that's made out of a book without destroying a real book, I might add. Thanks for watching Warrior House DIY.